Welcome to DARRENDAILY On Demand, your most trusted resource to help you become better every day. Here's your success mentor, Darren Hardy.
All right, I'm glad that you're staying the course. Welcome back. This morning, I'm going to tell you a story that I hate to tell. I hate telling it because it's painful, or at least it was very painful when it happened. And I mean very painful. But I think if I tell it to you, it will help you. And it will help you understand this must-have trait to be the exception. Okay, so here goes. Okay, when I was 12 years old, I tried out for Crusaders. It was a local Pop Warner full-contact football team. During the second round of tryouts, I was cut. There, I said it. I didn't make it. I was cut from the team. Now I know that this doesn't sound that traumatic, but for me, it was. It really was. If you remember, I was raised by a single father who, by profession, was a university football coach. I grew up on the gridiron, standing next to my dad. I was on the field with him all day. I ate with the players at the training table. I was always with my dad, probably because he didn't have anywhere else that he could leave me anyway. I witnessed every practice and every verbal whipping that my dad gave to every player, with spit sputtering through his clenched teeth and the veins in his neck bulging as if were to blow. And I get Vietnam-like flashbacks and probably have a little PTSD from witnessing those experiences. Anyway, my dad was my idol. He was all I had. He was my roots to the universe, the only thing that I knew God to be at that point. I did everything I could to make my dad proud. And my worst fear in life at that point was to ever disappoint him. So now the story gets worse, much worse. After coaching football, my dad got into real estate. He was partners with a guy who was my dad's football coach himself. He was my dad's mentor. His name was Les Davis. And my dad called him Coach all his life. Now they owned a real estate company together. Well, that day, for some reason it had to be that day, my dad had brought along Les to pick me up from football practice. And as I climbed into the back seat, my dad was talking to Les, bragging about me to his coach. Coach, he's gonna be a great player, with a big smile on his face. And then he asked the question I had been dreading for an hour. The question that a lifetime later I can still hear as if he was still sitting in the front seat in front of me now. My dad asked, "How was practice?" My heart sank, or stopped, or exploded. I don't know which. I just felt very sick all of a sudden. Les jumped in enthusiastically and asked, "Well, son, did you put the hurt on those kids today?" I thought I might die, right there, on the spot. After 3 hours or so, it seemed, I finally murmured, "I was cut." Who did what? What did you say there, boy? Les asked, certain that he didn't hear what I said. "I was cut," I said, much too loud of a tone. Then what happened next pained me so deeply that I have shivers running through my body 30 plus years later as I tell you this. My dad's mentor looked at my dad with a look of disappointment on his face. All my dad could do was look away. Not only had I disappointed my dad, which was my greatest fear in life, but I had caused my dad to disappoint the one man whose opinion of him mattered the most. My dad didn't say a word. I could see the look on his face from the back seat. He wasn't mad. He wasn't disappointed. It seemed to be even worse than that. He was dazed and distraught, like he realized something for the first time, like a decision was being made about me in that very moment, a decision that could perhaps never be reversed. It was the most painful moment in my life, still to this day. But I am thankful for that moment. That moment has been the central power source of my driving ambition ever since. I decided I was going to prove my worthiness. I was going to earn back his respect. I was going to make him proud, whatever it took. Now, I know that those aren't the healthiest of motives, but when you're starting out, any motive will do. When I was 24, I finally broke from the motive of trying to make my dad proud, and I transitioned to the motive of simply trying to make myself proud on my terms for my reasons. What happened when I was 24 is another story for another day. I tell you this painful story because I see many people battle with their setbacks of the past. One great advantage that I have in life is that I've used my failures as fuel instead of limitations. Failure has been the fuel for many of the people that you admire, making it our next must-have trait to be the exception, using your failure as fuel. Richard Branson, who battled with dyslexia and ADD, was told by his headmaster upon dropping out of high school that he'd likely end up in prison or a millionaire. That rocket fuel propelled Branson way beyond millionaire into the stratosphere of many billions. Thomas Edison was motivated by the words of his teacher when she said he'd never amount to anything. Steve Jobs, given up by his own biological parents and being kicked out of his own company, fueled him so fiercely that he did dent the universe. His airness, Michael Jordan, was launched when he was cut from his high school basketball team. That fueled him through every championship, all the way to the Hall of Fame podium, where in his acceptance speech, he waggled his finger at his high school coach and said, "See, you made a mistake, dude." I'm telling you now that in every tank of every passionate, relentlessly hardworking, great achiever is the fuel of failure. No longer let failures debilitate you. Let them fuel you. Let it light a fire in your belly that awakens your raw, innate super potential, ignites your indomitable spirit, and fortifies your unconquerable will to fight, to stretch, to pursue, to overcome, and do all that's necessary to realize your greatness and achieve all that you can conceive. You can do this. Once you turn your failures into fuel, then there's no telling what you could do. Hey, Darren here again quickly. I am so thrilled that you are enjoying the production of Darren Daily On Demand. I don't want you to lose sight of how important it is that you stay consistent or get yourself subscribed, if you aren't, to the every morning discipline of the actual Darren Daily. The transformational magic is in the process, not just the information or the big idea. It is in the ritual and routine to how you kickstart your day. It's calibrating your mind to focus on that one idea and apply it to that very day. Knowledge does not change your life. Behavior does. The action you take on that idea, one idea, each day compounded over time, is what creates the transformational results. Go to DarrenDaily.com if you're not already subscribed, and I will see you there bright and early tomorrow morning.